Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Prakash Narkhade and you're on Automation Talks, my YouTube channel. This is part 2 of the video series. In fact, it's just two videos. These are just two videos where I'm talking about event listeners in Tricentis Tosca. So in my first video, I tried to explain you at a very high level what is event listeners in Tricentis Tosca. In this particular video, I'll talk about how we can, customize the event listeners, or in fact, how to use it. Okay, so let me go to, okay, so let me pull my notepad here. So what we are talking about is event listeners. Okay, so in very short term, so we are listening to some events. So for an example, before my test execution begin, so if you know about TestNG that we use with Selenium, there is an addition called as before test or before method, right? So in the similar fashion, if you in Tricentis Tosca, if you want to do anything, before your test execution begins, that we do, you know, that we can implement rather. Okay, so before test, or we can do after test, or we can do before any test action, and then we have something after test action. So in your use case, if you have any use case where you want to perform certain action after any of these steps, for example, you have a test case where you are let's take an example of our previous um, use case where I explained you how we can fetch the secrets from AWS Secret Manager. Let's say I have some test. Now in the test, if you want to perform some action, let's say you want to perform some login, let's say at max, or let's take an example. You want to build, or you want to log your execution reports, stats, execution stats, say to database. Okay, or rather anywhere. Okay, so what I want to do is, as we know, right, all the data of our test execution is going into the repository database, but then fetching that data based on my need without knowing that particular UID is not possible, right? So what we're trying to do over here is log the execution detail whichever I need, and then produce whatever I want out of that particular data. So if I want to log all these execution details, so what needs to be done before test, or what and all details I should be capturing before test, what and all details I should be capturing after test? Do I want to capture the details in a very granular level, like the details of each and every test action, before test action, after test action? uh, you know After test action we can get what was the result of that particular test action, whether it was success, failure, skipped, how much time it has taken. All those details we can go ahead and log into, say, a database. Okay, uh, I mean, it can be any use case. Again, I'm not going to the database level. I'm just going to explain here how you can perform the customization. Later on we can add any code to that particular method. Rather, you can provide any implementation to all those methods. uh, okay, so let me go to my Visual Studio and let me create a new solution. And okay, it is taking some time. Okay, and okay, log. Okay, so this is fine, I don't need this here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a class library, and I'm gonna name it as, let's say, um, subscribe. I'm gonna be basically I'm subscribed to events. So there are some events that are happening in Tricentis Tosca. I'm just gonna subscribe to those events, and let's say subscribe to events in Tosca, or let's say from Tosca. Okay, so this is my uh, project name or a solution name. Create. Now in this particular case, again, um, as I said, this is the internal implementation. We are not going to create any custom module out of it. We are directly going to provide the implementation, and it is going to get implemented, or rather used, whenever you execute any test cases. right? So I don't need any special execution task or custom module to be created in Tosca. This is the direct implementation to uh, you know, which will get applied to any test. Okay, so this is my namespace, my class name. Okay, so let me give probably the same name to my class here. Better. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is so generally we do use some interfaces for performing or performing any implementation or customization in Tricentis Tosca. So in this particular case, the interface that we would be using is monitoring task executor. Okay. Okay, and I don't see any suggestion for this. Okay, I don't see any suggestion for this. It is because I haven't added any references related to Tricentis Tosca here. Okay, so I should be adding certain references, and again, all these references come from your tbox folder. Okay, so generally here I need base, I need objects, and I need interaction. These three are enough. I don't need probably Win32 base, agent contacts, AWS secrets manager, and all those stuff. I don't need. Now again, say if I'm gonna use a database, any database into this customization, I would be needing the DLL file or the installation of that particular database, and then we'll be pulling a methods from that particular library. So all those are specific to your customization. For now, I'm gonna get to a very generic one. Okay, and hopefully I should see that. Yeah, potential fixes, and I should be, yeah, this one. And then here I should be generating a constructor. Okay, fine. And then okay, one more thing I missed here. I should be updating assembly info file. So in the assembly info file, again, in my previous video, if you have seen, we provide some unique engine ID that we generally give to inside the module itself, so that the module engine ID and your customization ID will have the mapping, and then the respective DLL will get executed. But in this particular case, as I said, we're not going to create any module, front end module. All this is going to map with the existing framework, and in the existing framework, as per the existing framework, we should be mapping this assembly, uh, okay, this should be assembly, this should be engine ID, sorry. No, it should be ID. Okay, and then I should be using the their internal one, which is okay, I think execution monitoring. Okay, so this is something we need to make sure we use exactly same execution monitoring. Yeah, I think we're good with this. So we're done. We updated assembly info. We are good. We have added the references. We are good. And now I have a space to write my code. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna implement few methods, as I said, which is before your test execution, after your test execution, and before my test events, after test event. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause this video for probably a few minutes. I'll have my code and then I'll explain. Okay, so welcome back here, and now I have this implemented code. Again, I'll tell where this is coming from, what is the reference, because until and unless Tricentis expose this particular code, we don't have any idea in terms of all these methods and all, right? So I'll get you the source, but then for now, as I said, right, so all this stuff we have done, this is the validator which we are gonna which are not gonna use. This is basically to perform the the validation with respect to your input data. In this case, again, I don't need anything. So you see this method, right? And all these methods, you see, these are override methods, which is pre-test case execution, pre-execution, post-execution, pre-execution, pre-execution, and then post-execution. Post-execution, these are overloaded method, basically post-execution. Okay, pre-execution and post-execution, and a pre-test execution and post-test execution. So pre-test case execution before and post test case execution before and after your test execution starts. Pre-execution is basically for your events, for sorry, your actions, test actions. For any test actions, if you want to perform these actions, it is gonna capture or perform the implementation, whatever you're doing. Take an example. uh, you're you're trying to do something like, all your test execution results should go to the database. Now the very first thing will start from your test case name. Whenever your test execution starts, you want to pass information to the database. Okay, my test execution have started. So how are you gonna do that? So you're gonna perform the implementation inside this pre-test case execution. So here you're gonna write a code, to push your execution start update in the database, that okay, my test execution have started. So here you're gonna write your code to update your database. In my case, as I said, I'm not gonna work with the databases right here, so I'm just gonna put some buffer. Okay, just to show you that okay, this is working. So what I'm gonna do is, before and after any test case execute, it is gonna create some buffer. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna assign it with the value of exact timestamp, so that we understood that okay, this buffer is created just now. Okay, so this is just for demonstration that okay, whatever I wanted to demonstrate as a part of the subscribe to event is working. Now second, pre-execution. If you want to perform any action before your test action starts, any test action starts, you're gonna write that code here. Again, it's just I'm just creating a buffer. More important, say your test execution completes, or your test action execution completes, and you want to, or let's take an example. This would be post test execution. Okay, let's take this example, post test execution. And now your execution is completed and you want to fetch certain extra details, and you see this particular method, which is again overridden method. It is having two parameters, execution entry. This execution entry will hold all the details about your test case, the execution entry that you're doing. And this particular variable result of type execution result will hold all the details of your test execution results of your current test case. So for an example, if you want to get the end time of your execution, or if you want to calculate your total execution time, or if you want to get the status of your execution, if it is success or failure rate, so you can use this variable called as result, okay, which is of type execution result. And if you do a dot, you will find a lot of details. So if you want to get further details, again, until unless we try this, we don't know what and all we are getting out of these parameters, right? But then from the naming, I understand that okay, exception, if there are an exception thrown in your test cases, this will be captured with this exception. If there are any failure reason, uh, again, something familiar, message, what message we get after your execution is completed, your test case name, your recovery information, what was the recovery that is applied to particular test case, your result TCPs, your start time, and then your end time, your screenshots path, and then all this information will be available into this results variable. So you can extract that information and continue with your further journey that you're gonna do with this events. Okay, for now, again, I'm not gonna deal with all the stuff. What I'm gonna do is simple implementation where I'm gonna create a buffer just to understand that okay, this particular post test execution has worked. Okay, so I'm just naming it as the buffer will be named post test execution, and then prefixed with the current timestamp, and it will hold the current timestamp. Okay, so what I've done is I've not performed any actual implementation of any actual use case. I just wanted to demo how this event monitoring works in Tricentis Tosca. Okay, so just added a couple of buffer steps. Okay, and I think that is pretty much. So what you need to do is we just need to run this program or build the solution, I'll just click on start. Okay, so you see the project build has started for the subscribe to event from Tosca. And then okay, so that is fine. And you see okay, my DLL is created. Let me go to this folder. Okay, let me go to this PC and C drive. It will be in 86. It will try Centis, Tosca test suite, Tbox, and I should be putting my DLL file here. Okay, so this is my DLL file, subscribe to events from Tosca. Let me copy this DLL file, and I should be putting this particular DLL file into this Tbox folder. Continue, and I need to make sure that I restart my Tricentis Tosca if it is open. So it is open. Let me go ahead and open it. Okay, so I'm just restarting my Tosca, but then that is all it is. So whatever implementation you have provided, you should be putting that DLL file into this Tbox folder, and that particular implementation will get applied to all the events, basically whichever it supports. Get applied to all the test executions that is happening with Tosca. Okay, and then talking about source, right? Give me a second. Let me launch this. And meanwhile, okay, now how I get this information is from this Tbox API documentation. Again, as I said, until and unless this is not open source, right? Until and unless Tricentis expose it or make it available to the external users, we won't be able to use it. So from probably from last couple of releases, I guess this is open, and we can go ahead and perform the implementation of what we need. And this is where it is coming from. You see engine ID is this, what I said, execution monitoring, and then monitoring task executor, and then let me just double check if I use this. I suppose it should be the same. Yeah, task executor. Yeah. Right, but then that is the source. Okay, let me open my Tosca. Okay. Okay, so this is my Tosca, and if I go to buffers, let me check if there are no buffers created. So what I'm expecting now, any test that I execute is gonna create some buffers, right? That is what the implementation that I have provided into my customization. So let me go and okay, so let me go ahead and execute this test, though it has only one step where I'm gonna fetch the secrets from AWS secret manager, but assume that there are some test, and it is doing some your meaningful purpose. Even this is meaningful, but then this is just one step. Let me go ahead and execute. And again, this is gonna get applicable for any execution if it is from your scratchbook or execution list. Your monitoring will it will be continued. Okay, so the execution is completed. I see it as success. That is fine. More I'm interested right now into this buffer viewer. Yeah, and that is what you see in the buffer viewer. You see few details, few buffers that got created. Okay, so this secret is retrieved from my AWS secret manager. That is fine, that's not my objective. But then I'm interested into these three buffers: pre-execution, post-test case execution, and pre-test case execution. So again, it depends on what implementation you are providing into all these methods. But then I just wanted to see that okay, we are able to successfully create a buffer out of your customization. If I run it one more time, it is gonna perform this monitoring again. It is gonna send this information to wherever you are, implementing. So you see, it is creating these buffers. Again, to clarify, creating buffer is just a demo to demonstrate how this event monitoring works in Tosca. But then in real time, we should be performing the implementation to these methods. Here it should be your actual implementation, whatever you want to perform as a part of this particular monitoring. Okay, so yeah, I think that is pretty much I had to talk about this custom event listeners. Uh, this is something very good, I would say this library exposed by Tricentis. We can definitely have certain, good implementations out of this. And this is one of the thing which was missing till now. For most of the folks who works on, say, Selenium, Tosca both, they understand how good TestNG is, what and all, uh, TestNG listeners does, right? It is very powerful. So in the similar way, definitely this is something very good. But then it is just that, you need to write those customizations, compile, put the DLL file and all, right? But then yeah, that is definitely good to subscribe to the Tosca events. Okay, so yeah, I think that is pretty much as a part of these videos where I explained about Tosca events, and I hope you guys found it useful. And then yeah, I think that's pretty much, I'm good to close. Thank you for watching.